I learned this the hard way, but you don't have to. Scales don't work to make music unless you learn how to make phrases with them. Today we'll cover the anatomy of making music from scales. One of the things that I thought when I was coming up as a player was that if I learned on my scales all over the neck, I'd be able to play music. I very quickly found out that that wasn't right. That's not really music, is it? Maybe this is a little bit better. One of the things that has stuck with me for a long time is something a teacher told me a long time ago about improvisation. He said, improvisation is like having a conversation with somebody. Now, you wouldn't go out and plan out every word, would you? You'd just talk. And that's what really stuck with me all of this time, is that music could be analogous to spoken language. But that in and of itself is not enough to turn scales into music. So let's delve into that just a little bit deeper. In this analogy, we could say that scales are like the alphabet, and chords are perhaps like words. But you need sentences to have a conversation, and phrases are like sentences. Sentences have a structure to them. They should form a complete thought. They should have a cadence to them. They should have something to do with the overall conversation or the story that you're telling. And they should end with a period or a question mark or exclamation point. So let's use that sentence analogy as a framework to build out our phrase. We're going to use the G minor pentatonic as our alphabet today. First, phrases have to have a cadence to them. Let's start out with this. That kind of sounds like the proverbial droning professor, kind of boring. And what about this? To me, that sounds kind of like an auctioneer. Fun to listen to for a small amount of time, but then it gets kind of tiresome. But how about this? It's starting to head toward music. We'll call that cadence rhythm. But rhythm isn't enough. Sentences also have to represent a complete thought, and phrases do too. So something like this isn't really music either. Not quite. Now, if we change the order and the timing and the phrasing of the notes, we get something a lot more musical. We'll call this notion of having a complete thought in your phrase to be melody. Now, you can take melodies from all sorts of places. You can get them from guitar licks, or you can get them from songs that you sing in the shower. It's all good. But even having rhythm and melody isn't enough. There's one more ingredient. Remember when we said sentences have to be related to the overall conversation or the story that you're telling? So do the scales that we play have to be related to the chords that we're playing over. And especially when we make a musical phrase, we want that period or exclamation point to fit with the chords that we're playing as well. Take Angus's phrase. That first note happens over a G chord. And that bend is bent to a D. The D note happens to be a chord tone in the G major chord. Likewise, the phrase ends with a proper period. Here's the note that it ends on, and it ends on a D chord. That's a D note over a D chord, chord tone. So a good phrase needs rhythm, melody, and harmony. But that's really just the beginning. To get further, you're going to have to master some simple things. And to learn one of those simple things, watch this video next. And when you combine it with what you learned in this video, it's going to improve your ability to sound musical by 10x. So check it out, and I'll see you in the next video.